The next 7 days are about to become the most critical weather period of February 2026. Multiple storms are converging on the United States right now, and what happens in your area over the next week could determine whether you face historic snow, dangerous ice, or record-breaking heat. But here is what nobody is telling you. The timing of these storms will be different for every region, and if you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could be caught completely off guard. Right now, at this very moment, a powerful storm system is moving through the desert Southwest. This is not just another winter storm. This system has the potential to produce multiple tornadoes, dumping rain that will turn Valentine's Day into a complete washout for millions of Americans from Texas all the way to the East Coast. And this is just the beginning. Within 30 seconds, I am going to reveal which major cities are about to see the most dangerous conditions and the exact timeline for when each storm will hit your area. Let me be crystal clear about what is happening right now. We have severe weather returning to the southern United States today. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk from South Kansas down into West Texas, covering Oklahoma City and Wichita Falls. By late this afternoon, around 7 p.m., isolated large hail will begin falling. Tomorrow, Saturday, February 15th, the threat escalates dramatically. A large marginal threat now stretches from western Mississippi into southern Oklahoma, encompassing almost all of central and east Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth, Abilene, Houston, central Louisiana, and western Mississippi are all in the danger zone. Here is the shocking part that most weather forecasters are not emphasizing. Damaging winds will be the primary concern tomorrow, with some storms producing quarter to half-dollar size hail. But the real danger? A couple of tornadoes are absolutely on the table, and I would not be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center upgrades this to a slight risk before tomorrow arrives. By Sunday, February 16th, the severe weather threat shifts to the Gulf Coast, where more damaging winds and additional tornadoes are possible from Mobile to New Orleans. But wait, because the severe weather is only one piece of this complex puzzle. At the same time, a dramatic pattern change is bringing a surge of warm air across the central United States. We are talking about record-breaking heat early next week, pushing as far north as Minnesota and South Dakota. Cities like Des Moines and central Kansas will see temperatures soaring into the 60s and 70s, running as much as 40 degrees above average. For winter lovers, this is brutal news. The groundhog might as well be fired from his job because we definitely do not have 6 more weeks of winter coming. Now, let me give you the exact timeline for this weekend SE storm because timing is everything. Today, Friday, February 14th, is relatively quiet for most of the lower 48 states. The main action will be in the high plains, Texas, and Oklahoma, where widespread rain becomes a concern by late tonight. Some severe storms will develop, and I will break down the exact timing in just a moment. Saturday morning, February 15th, the storm system intensifies into a large area of rain. Plenty of showers and thunderstorms will be ongoing in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. Even if you are not under a severe weather risk, you could hear rumbles of thunder. By Saturday afternoon, the severe weather threat increases dramatically across southern Arkansas, Louisiana, and East Texas. A line of storms will form with damaging winds, some hail, and possibly a couple of tornadoes. Meanwhile, a blob of rain continues moving into the Tennessee Valley. Late Saturday night into early Sunday, February 16th, localized flooding becomes a major concern. If you live in a low-lying area anywhere from Texas to Tennessee, you need to stay weather aware. By Sunday afternoon and evening, the storm system becomes broad and less organized. It will not produce much severe weather, but there could be light snowfall in Maryland and West Virginia by Sunday night. Do not expect significant accumulation, just light flurries and maybe a dusting to 1 inch in a few spots. Let me give you specific timing for the severe weather because this could save your life. Today, around 7 p.m., isolated hailstorms will stretch from Oklahoma City towards Midland, Texas. We are really just talking about hail at this point. The tornado risk is minimal because most storms will be elevated. Tomorrow morning, Saturday, a cluster of storms will be ongoing near Wichita Falls. Heavy rain will stretch up towards Joplin and Springfield. Across Oklahoma City and Abilene, heavy rain and thunderstorms will continue. The severe weather really gets going around 2 to 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, mainly along a line of thunderstorms near Dallas-Fort Worth, down the Interstate 35 corridor towards San Antonio. This will continue into the evening hours as a line of thunderstorms. However, if we get any prefrontal supercells out in front of the line, there is a better chance of an isolated tornado. I do not think there is a strong tornado risk tomorrow, but any tornado can be damaging, especially with all the infrastructure and trees that could easily get knocked down. By tomorrow night, this line of storms continues tracking east. Honestly, the overnight threat could be more concerning, with a long line of thunderstorms producing scattered, damaging winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. Perhaps some embedded tornadoes in this line during the overnight hours into early Sunday morning. This will eventually move into Alabama, southern Mississippi, and near New Orleans by the dawn of Sunday. This storm will dump a lot of rain. We are expecting widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain from Dallas-Fort Worth into Nashville, Tennessee. Some localized areas, especially near the Mississippi River Valley, will pick up closer to 4 to 5 inches of rain. This is a pretty impactful storm system, though not the worst we have seen all year. By late Sunday and early Monday, February 17th, this storm system moves offshore. Then all our focus shifts to the west coast, and this is where things get really interesting. Multiple storms are about to surge out of the Pacific Ocean, and what happens next week will bring additional heavy snow and thunderstorm threats across the central and eastern United States. A very large atmospheric river event is setting up for next week. This will allow a massive trail of moisture to stretch from the Pacific Ocean all the way back into the northeast. Our jet stream is going to intensify dramatically across the desert southwest and into the northern plains. By Monday morning, February 17th, heavy rain will be falling across California and Oregon, leading to a flooding risk across most of western California. If you are anywhere from San Diego to western Oregon, stay weather aware on Monday. Heavy mountain snow will continue across the Cascades and Sierra Nevada Monday night into Tuesday. We are talking about massive snow totals. Some areas in the Sierra Nevada could see upwards of 60 to 80 inches of snow within just a few days. That is absolutely crazy. By Tuesday afternoon, February 18th, a large storm system forms across the Rockies and northern plains. This will be one of 2 notable storm systems expected next week. Pay attention to the pressure of this storm and how tight the isobars are. Those small black lines on weather maps indicate a very tight pressure gradient between the high and low pressure systems. This means extremely high winds are expected Tuesday night across most of the northern and central United States. We will also have heavy snow ongoing by late Tuesday and early Wednesday, February 19th. This will not affect areas like Kansas or Missouri. However, if you are in the Dakotas, Minnesota, or Wisconsin, your snowpack is decreasing rapidly as temperatures increase. This storm should bring your snowpack back by the middle of next week. There is also potential for freezing rain across parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. Right now, it does not look like an ice storm, but that could definitely change as we get closer. Heavy snow continues across the upper Midwest and northern plains during Wednesday. This could move into the northeast by Thursday, February 20th, but since this is about a week away, things could still change. Thursday brings another storm system from all that moisture and energy along the west coast. This one could be much more impactful for many more people. The main reason is this storm has a better chance of taking a more southern trajectory. By Thursday night and early Friday, February 21st, some models are showing a storm system forming in the central plains near Kansas City. This low-pressure system will likely be strong, around 990 to 985 millibars. It will probably produce showers and maybe some thunderstorms on the south side of the low by late Thursday. The possibility of heavy snow is on the table from western New York back into Iowa. I do not have as much confidence that this storm will pan out exactly like this right now because it is still a week away. I have much more confidence in the Wednesday storm as that has been showing on models for days. This Thursday storm has only appeared for maybe a day or two. However, if you are in the Midwest, Great Lakes, or Northeast and want snowfall, this is definitely something to watch. It could also impact the Northeast. Now let me talk about the major outdoor events happening in February that could be affected by this weather. The Daytona 500 is scheduled for Sunday, February 15th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern at Daytona International Speedway. Kurt Russell will serve as the honorary pace car driver. Comedian Nate Bargatze will say the famous words, "Drivers, start your engines." Miranda Lambert will perform the pre-race concert. The weather forecast for Daytona shows the most intense precipitation chance of Speed Week continues to linger on race day itself. With Arctic air penetrating unusually far south already this season, The mid-month period could bring cool, breezy conditions, possibly chilly for spectators if a front arrives close to race day. Valentine's Day, today, February 14th, brings wintry conditions likely for the Northeast and Great Lakes, with icy travel possible as a system rides through during this mid-month pattern shift. For California and the desert Southwest, conditions will be mild and dry unless a Pacific storm breaks the ridge. Canada Family Day travel happens on Monday, February 16th. This is a major domestic travel weekend across several provinces. Given the mid to late February cold risk in a disrupted vortex regime, plan for winter road impacts across Ontario and Quebec corridors, plus deep cold operational issues in the prairies. Let me give you specific forecasts for major cities across the United States. New York City has already recorded over 21 inches of snow from December through January, when the city typically picks up about 14 inches. Nearly 16 inches fell in Philadelphia during the same time frame when the city should get a little over 10 inches. Washington, D.C. and Boston also carried higher than average snow totals into February. The Interstate 95 corridor from Virginia to Maine typically gets more snow in February than any other month. With conditions holding, all it will take for another blockbuster snowfall this month is a storm that follows just the right track up the East Coast. Sea surface temperatures along the Atlantic coast are usually relatively warm at the start of winter, as large bodies of water are slow to shed heat from summer and fall. Any storms that interact with this warmth are more likely to deliver rain than snow. But as February progresses, ocean temperatures cool, setting up prime conditions for major snowstorms. For the Pacific Northwest, uncertainty remains high. Washington is more of a wild card. The Northern Rockies may see a strong late-season finish. This winter has followed similarly to 2018 across the northern U.S. Rockies, with deep snowpack across higher elevations and shallow snowpack over lower elevations due to warm temperatures and rain. Starting around mid-February of 2018, the Northern Rockies saw a much better pattern emerge with colder storms and heavy snowfall. We could see a similar late-season finish in 2026. February 2026 is shaping up as a high-impact winter month across the United States and Canada, driven by two headline forces working at the same time. First, a confirmed stratospheric warming is forecast to split and effectively collapse the polar vortex by mid-February, increasing the odds of prolonged cold and repeated storm windows in the weeks that follow. Second, the background ocean pattern is shifting. La Nina is fading toward ENSO neutral, which often allows high-latitude dynamics like the polar vortex to run the show with fewer tropical constraints. Since February 2026 is setting up as a cold-driven, storm-interrupted month, the highest-risk corridors are where heavy traffic meets frequent wintry precipitation and fast temperature swings. The Interstate 80, Interstate 90, and Interstate 94 belt can see long-duration snow, blowing snow, and lake-effect whiteouts. The Interstate 70 corridor across the Rockies remains vulnerable when Pacific systems interact with cold air. In the southeast, even a brief ice event can overwhelm infrastructure. Now, comment below with your city and state, and I will give you a personalized forecast for your exact location over the next 7 days. Do not wait until the storms arrive. The weather pattern is changing rapidly, and what happens in the next 72 hours will set the stage for the rest of February. Drop your location in the comments right now, and make sure you are subscribed because tomorrow I will be breaking down the extended forecast for the final 2 weeks of February, including whether that massive northeast snowstorm will actually happen. The next update drops in exactly